guys, this is Jacqui Cooper with JCooperTravels, and I am so excited to have Jenna here today. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about her in a second, but for those of you that are not familiar with JCooperTravels, my podcast talks about experiences and stories, both in health and finance and where you travel around the world, as well as where you travel both in your own personal life and your own personal journey. And just for those of you that might not know about my background, I'm an attorney, I'm a special educator, I'm a mom, and an avid traveler. And I love meeting and sharing stories of individuals that I meet, both in my LinkedIn community, as well as my Facebook, and all around the world. So today I have Jenna on, and I connected with her and her group, Sixx Cool Moms, on Facebook. And they have a phenomenal network of women who are all there to support each other in a variety of states. Now, I want to make sure that you understand fully the concept, because I'm just blown away with everything that they're doing. Jenna, welcome. Thank you so much for being on. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Sure. Can you tell us a little bit more about Sixx Cool Moms and what its vision is and how you started it?
Sure. So Sixx Cool Moms, we're a national social network for what we call fun moms. So our group is designed for what I like to say that we're women with children, as opposed to just identifying as being moms, because although we have have children and we love them more than anything on this planet, we're still individuals with our own interests, our own hobbies, our own desires. And so we really are a Facebook group, or a series of Facebook groups that are designed to really hone in on what the moms are looking for, what these women want for their entertainment, their enjoyment, their support, more so than just the children, which I think is the biggest basis of these social groups for women these days.
Now, if someone wanted to connect with you, how would they do that?
Sure. So you can go to our website, www.sixx with two X's, coolmoms.com. You can find our main page on Facebook at Sixx Cool Moms. You can also find us on Instagram at Sixx Cool Moms. And you can find me personally, Jenna Levine Liu, at Noshing the Suburbs on Instagram.
And for those that might not be familiar with podcast, there's a little block underneath the podcast as well as on the YouTube side, and that will have all of the links. So that way, if you're driving or you don't have a pen or a pencil near you, you'll be able to go back. And if for some reason you can't remember any of this, just remember jcoopertravels@gmail.com and email me, and I'm happy to send you all the links. So Jenna, I know that we were talking before we started about aerial yoga. I know you have a lot of different interests. How did you come up with the idea of creating this wonderful platform?
I'm so sorry. My thing, Alexa just turned on randomly. That's always very, very creepy. All right, so you're talking about the Jenna's First Time blog. So I have a blog series called Jenna's First Time, where I go out and I try new experiences and I film and blog about them. So I did one on, cosmetic enhancements like Botox and fillers, one on aerial yoga. I have a couple of other ones that are coming up as well. Some of them are more in depth, some of them a little lighter, but I started doing those because people found them interesting. So me, myself, I'm a bit of a comedian, I would say. So I started one group back when I was 6 months pregnant. It was July of 2019. I live in Germantown, Maryland, so a suburb of Washington, D.C. Most of my close friends live in Northern Virginia, which is another suburb of Washington, D.C., but on the opposite side. And while being single, it's easy to visit your friends for brunch or coffee or, happy hour, when you're single. Once you have, kids and you're, married and you live farther away, 45 minutes becomes like a whole shebang.
It does.
It really does. So I needed to sort of build a support network for myself in my community. So what I did was pretty much what any, basic 30-something new mom does is join Facebook groups in my local community. Once I did that, I went into a bit of a panic mode where I saw these groups and there was a lot of drama and a lot of mom shaming and also just a lot of, quite frankly, people who are uncool. And now when I say cool, I don't mean it like leather jackets and like being jerks to each other kind of thing. Just not fun, not happy. There wasn't joy there. It seemed like the whole world was about the children, and the women weren't really thinking about taking care of themselves. And I kept seeing people say that they wanted to meet up and do these things, and it wouldn't happen, and people can be flaky. So I started my own group, and it took off. It's called Sixx Cool Moms because the first meetup we did, there were 6 of us there, and we became very friendly after that initial meetup. So when I started the full-on company, I decided to honor it by calling it Sixx Cool Moms. So I started this group, and it started slow, but then it took off. And I noticed that there started to be a little bit of a change in the group's content and engagement based on traits in my comedic traits in my personality, because I'm a little funny, a little risque, and people really liked that. They started telling their friends, and people were joining the page just to see the content that's in the page. And then having the meetups, in addition to that, was nice because now these people with similar interests and similar personalities, got to meet up in person before the pandemic. Yeah, so we actually I launched in March of 2020. I got my LLC, all of that sort of fun stuff. And I started reaching out to friends I had in different markets across the country that had similar personalities to me, and asked them if they wanted to start their own groups. So that was in March, and now it's January of 21, and we have 23 groups in 9 states, 18 what we call market directors, so the people that run each group in each market, and we have 40,000 members, and we grow between 4 and 6% overall each week. And we have our Instagram page, our main page, and our website where we do constant blog content. We also have a podcast called Bad Ask Moms, Ask with a K, and I host that with one of the members of the group. Her name is Christy Mirabello, and we started off as an advice podcast, but now we're more of an interview podcast ourselves. So we do series. Right now we're doing the Why I Stayed series. So we interview 3 separate moms on why they stayed in a relationship that was abusive, or the husband cheated, or something along those lines. We've done the questions, obviously, that are a little bit more like, your podcast might not be the place to take place on my podcast, but the Badass Moms, you can also find us on Instagram and Facebook as well at Badass Moms. So it's been a lot. I actually left my full-time job in November of 2020 because I could not do it all anymore. And my husband pretty much said, you have 1 year to replace your salary or find a new job. And I said, all right, I'm going to get to work.
I think that's great. And I think that's really inspirational. Again, it's not a risk, but taking the dive means that you're committed, and that, you can do things like I'm doing things both part-time as well as full-time, but you can also kind of go full-time. And I've done that too. I mean, but you have to listen to your heart, and you have to really follow your gut for when the time is right for that.
100%. And what I essentially did was, my background experience, I have over 10 years of media sales experience. So I've done print and digital, cinema, and broadcasts. And my last sort of career chunk that I was in, I was doing selling political advertising. And that's the job I left to do this full time. I wasn't planning on doing this full time. I didn't even know that it could be profitable, but I essentially took what I've learned from years in media sales and turned Sixx Cool Moms into a media company, but it's a network of influencers is what we are. So it's a different platform for advertisers to reach an engaged audience without being too in your face about it, so the engagement of the members goes down. So people like supporting businesses for people that they see every day, that they're posting memes, that they're posting personal stories. They want to support those businesses. And so it works out pretty well. But man, it was terrifying.
It is terrifying.
At my job, I was like, I worked for a large corporation, so I had really good benefits. I was, making a fairly good salary. And I pretty much just said, screw it, all in or nothing. Because the hard thing is that having a full-time job like that and then managing a team that's growing, I couldn't do it all. So I have too many people like working with me at this stage to be able to do anything else. But it's exciting.
It's exciting. And I think, you are so honest and authentic in what you're saying, because we can't be super individuals, but we also have to be realistic about the boundaries and the balance. And so at different stages of our life, we can do more, but at other stages, we need to be honest with ourselves as to how do we not burn ourselves out.
100%. Especially I had a young child, and I was just doing too much.
Yeah.
And like you said, you have your passion. This is my passion. This is what I love to do. I can't picture doing anything else. Plus, and this annoys my husband, but I don't care, it sort of allows me to look at memes all day. My job is looking at memes and making people laugh. It's amazing. Like, that's incredible. And when we can go out again, I get to meet all of these new people, and I love meeting new people and hearing their stories and sharing experiences. So I'm just very excited about the whole thing.
I agree with you. And I also know that as a mom, my daughter's now 24-ish.
Where do you live?
I live in Maryland.
Okay.
I'm neighbors to you, but I'm down in the College Park area. So yeah,
you should join our groups if you're not in them.
I will be joining. I will definitely be joining. That's another plug. Where can people join and find more about Sixx Cool's mom?
I like it. Just like whoop, pick up what you just dropped. So you can find our chapter directory at sixcoolmoms with 2x's.com/directory. We'll have the whole list along with links of where we're located. We are all over the DMV though. So if you're a DC local, we got you covered.
I know.
Geographically.
For sure. So what I wanted to share with you is, I realized when I was a young mom, because I dedicated myself to my daughter, even though I also had my outside interests. Now that she's out of the house, I now have more free time. So my life balance is different. And, and those are things that, like you said,
She's 24, you said?
Yeah.
It's tough, right? Because your whole world was about her, and now you sort of have to let go and see what happens. And that's a little terrifying.
Actually, and she knows this too. I've been honest with her. I love the fact that she's out doing her own thing. Because
were you like, get out of my space?
No. I love having her come back. I do love having her come back. But I'm so proud of her and everything that she's doing, because
that's awesome.
Yeah, she is an empowered young woman who is standing up for herself. She won't take any crap from individuals who she thinks are toxic, which I'm very proud about.
That's, you know what? I'm doing that now. 36. She's got the jump on it.
Yeah. So, again, I will pat myself on the back for being a role model for her. But again,
yeah, it's hard being a single mom. Good for you.
It is. But, like you said, the community that you're creating gives the safe space and the voice for individuals to feel out what's right, what's not right, and with no judgment. And those are spaces that didn't exist when I was a younger mom. That's really important.
It is. And it's beautiful too in its own way, because it's not just one type of mom. You have stay-at-home moms, you have working moms, you have, moms with 4 kids, moms with 1 kid, varying ages, varying disabilities, very races and ethnicities and religions, and they all come together, and there's that one bonding factor, right? Children, the experience is very unique, and until you have your own child, you honestly don't know. And it's funny, I used to get frustrated when people would say to me, while I was pregnant, or when we were first talking about having kids, they'd be like, oh man, you just don't know how hard it is. And you're like, okay, yeah, I get it. And now it's like, no, I really didn't know how hard it was, and I have to fight not telling other people that. But now you have this community, and everybody feels that way, and it's a really unbreakable bond. And although not everybody can be friends, because personalities are different and not everybody's meant to be friends, there's a respect there, and there's an understanding there that we're not here to judge, we're just here to support. And if you don't agree with what somebody's doing, you just keep scrolling. You don't have to respond. You don't have to put your opinion out there if no one is asking for it. So it's been great to see these like friendships form between members, and I don't have that much to do with it, but I can see it happening.
I know.
My little ducklings going off into the world.
The one thing that I do know that I was really good at, and I'm really grateful that I was aware in the moment that every step of her development was changing. So I was very appreciative of each year and each change, no matter how difficult, because every part of our life stage is different. And with kids, from, the first day until they're older, they're always our child, but they grow so fast. So it's daily. It's incredible. And I know that my daughter's 16 months old, so she's fairly young. And at this stage, it's every day she's learning something new, and it's fascinating to watch. And I know that slows down as they get older and the developmental stages are longer, but it must be as they get older, you look at this person, you're like, oh my, like I created you, and now you're here eating all my food and trying to like steal my car. You know what I'm saying? It's just weird. Like you look and you're like, wow, that's I made a person, and they're here, and they have a social security number. It is amazing. And those are the memories that you want to keep, and those are the memories you want to develop. And that's why I got into travel, because I love to travel, and I wanted her to enjoy the same experiences. So like after law school, when I went to Europe for 2 months on my own, did you do the backpack hostel thing? I did. I bet you have some good stories. I do. We'll do that on a different podcast. Okay, you can come on my podcast. Okay, awesome. But I wanted her to have that experience. So after she graduated from high school, we went on a 3-week trip, just following my path. Where'd you go? Well, we went from Rome all the way up to Paris. And then another trip that we went, because we love trains, we landed in London. We went all the way up from Scotland around to Wales and back, a whole loop. And we, because of the travel portal that I'm able to share with everyone, I only booked our hotel coming in and our hotel going out. As we backpacked and we decided where we wanted to go next, then I would call and make the reservation, and we went on the train to wherever we wanted to go. How awesome. What a lovely memory. Yeah, it was great. And I also, we met people on the train, and we knew we were going to be doing this. So we packed light. We had a backpack and just like a carry-on. So that way we could get souvenir stuff. But someone told us about, I think it was Fort Williams. I'm probably going to not remember the city, but it's where the train for Harry Potter is. Oh, fun. So we said, okay, let's go to that little town in Scotland. We went up there and we called and we said, can we get tickets? They said, well, you have to be there like 2 hours in advance. So we went 4 hours in advance, and we waited in line we took the train, and, again, how cool. It was, spontaneous. And I love that, because I love that too. I want to do that, but then it's not spontaneous. Well, no, you know what? You can have part of it be spontaneous. My daughter says I plan everything, and I do to a certain extent. But you have to. So when I travel, I do not plan everything down to the minute. I just have a general outline. Exactly. With maybe one activity for the day. Because if you get too
like packed in your own schedule, the trip becomes kind of like anxiety inducing. It's not fun anymore. So I like being like, well, I'm here. This is what I'm going to do for this day. But just being able to wander, like my husband and I, we've done a lot of traveling ourselves pre-Poppy. And when we went to Paris, we literally just walked miles and miles and miles, just getting lost.
Exactly.
Sometimes on purpose, sometimes on accident. But I love that. I've done that in Israel and Rome. And I just start walking and see what you see. And sometimes you're like, oh my God. And it's history. And I just kind of ran into it.
It is. I mean, I love travel to meet people, the culture, the buildings, the food.
Yeah.
And that's why it's a little hard.
I miss it so much. Oh my God. I just want to go to the movies. Seriously. It's depressing.
Yeah, it's kind of hard, but I know that in the future it's going to be better. And the reason why it's going to be better is I think that if you think about this, our lifestyle was very fast paced. This past year, we've been forced to slow down and appreciate time, appreciate people, and just appreciate the moments.
Yeah.
And that.
Yeah, I don't think it's going back to the way it was before.
No, it's not. But it's interesting, even on the travel side, hotels now are offering free COVID tests because they need people to come. So they're going to offer all the things to make sure that people come. So,
if I didn't have a kid, I would be traveling like everywhere. I know that's terrible. I'd be really safe about it.
You need to switch it around. You can travel even with your daughter.
Nah, it's too hard. She's too young. When she's older.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would say when they can walk by themselves, 5 or 6 or 7, when they don't get tired walking, because as adults, we do walk a lot. So
100%.
So any last minute thing that you would like to share about Sixx Cool Moms? I know we're going to be on again and we'll have continuing conversation. So this is just the first of a series. Everyone who's listening, there's going to be a lot of conversations we're going to have. But anything else that you want to share so that way people can connect and join a chapter? I did see that you're in the U.S. Are you planning on going overseas?
I would love to go. Indeed. Yes, I would love to go overseas. Not right now.
But I'm talking about chapters. Are you thinking about having chapters?
Oh yeah, overseas definitely. It's in the long-term plan. It's something we'd like to do. We'd like to have chapters in cities and counties all over the world, and just to bring this brand of community would be really special, and I'd really love to do that. But we're starting right now. We have the 23 chapters. We do have a couple of national chapters. We have a Sixx Cool Dads, which recently launched. Yeah. I found the director of that group on Instagram. I don't know how I started following him. I just did. And his stuff was hilarious. And so I reached out thinking he was a mom, which I don't know why. And he said, no. And I was like, well, do you have kids? And he says, actually, he has triplet 4-year-old girls.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, oh my God, that's perfect. So that worked out really nicely. So we have that group. We have a planner group for women who like to organize, and a booze berries group for people who just want to, surprise their neighbor with, booze and treats during the year that never ends. This is still 2020. It's just a little bit longer. But you can find us on sixcoolmoms.com.
So for those that, again, might not be familiar with podcasts, there is a block below, both for the podcast as well as for YouTube. Again, if you don't remember, just contact me at JCooperTravels@gmail.com. I will have my links down below, which are also, I have access to a wholesale travel portal that saves you up to 35% on your travels. It is free to register. There's no cost. You can explore. It has a 110% price match guarantee, so it's better than Priceline, Expedia, and all those other public portals. So again, thank you so much for being on. I look forward to our continuing conversations. This has been really super fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you.